all right. What's good, YouTube? What's good, YouTube? This is Stormybman coming at you with another episode of the Friday Night Chop Session. This is June 7th, Friday, and we are here to bring to you another evening of the good talk for the sport of boxing. And I'm joined this evening with my co-host, Hyphy, and a couple of special panelists. We've got the Odd Fella, and we also have boxing conversations with Reggie Owens, who's joining us for the first time. And we'd like to give him a warm welcome and reception here. So, how's everybody on the panel this evening, brothers?
It's always a good night to, top boxing, especially on Stormy B's platform. Salute to Hyphy, the co-host, And definitely we got Reggie Owens in the building as well as Fula. So yeah, it's a good look tonight, Let's get it popping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reggie Owens, you out there with us now this evening. Say a few words, if you will. Introduce yourself, brother.
All right, what's up, my brothers? What's up to everybody out there in the world listening globally? Just glad to be on the panel with the OG, be on here with the other brothers as we kick this boxing conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Hyphy, come on in, brother. Say something. Let people know what's going on with you.
Man, you already know we coming off a good week last week, so we just want to build off of that. Just ready just to talk some boxing. None of the other extra, BS outside of boxing. We just want to stick to boxing tonight. Let's do it.
For sure, for sure. Want to say that we're gonna go to the chat real quick and give a little welcome because we got a few people out there with us this evening. Want to start out with GG, Sheldon Holmes, Mark Wunderlich, Ravens Nation, Clifton Bronson, Bottom of Cali, Mark Wunderlich. I said you already. Good evening. Muhammad is the one. What's going on, family? We are here and we ready to talk it. Fellas, we're hearing some rumblings behind the scenes that there's a fight that may be in the works, a major fight for the sport, a fight that all of us have been looking forward to. And I have to honestly admit that I'm a little bit excited about it. And that's the possibility of the fight between Earl Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. Have you brothers been hearing the rumblings about the possibility of that fight being worked on?
Yeah, I've been hearing it. And I think the signs are kind of there. So I'm glad they're getting the situation going. I'm glad Bob Arum is finally waking up and stepping out the way of interfering with great bouts. So I'm happy about this.
Indeed,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
it first started with Bud's kind of cryptic message about kind of alluding to, yeah, negotiations is going on, but he didn't really say with who, in the dig. Then we have all this, so to speak, radio silence. You know what I mean? No talk from. It's kind of been quiet. Then we have Kenny Porter saying, "Hey, my son didn't sign the contract, man. Where's Spence at? You know what I mean?" Now we have we have Sean Porter. Sean Porter out there. He came out with a video today talking about, I signed the contract. I'm waiting on Spence. You know, dig? Almost borderline talking greasy. You know what I mean? Trying to speed up the process a little bit. You know what I mean? So maybe there is some legs to this story that they're getting something done behind closed doors, without no knowledge of the public. Media don't know about it. They're just, you know what I mean, getting it done. There could be that possibility because in the recent past, or not even in the recent past, just in the past in general, this is how, you know what I mean, big fights usually happen when nobody's really talking about it. I mean, we talked about it, but now there's radio silence, and maybe both camps are going back and forth about it. So, and it leads me to believe it's like, yeah, why hasn't Spence signed the contract? You know what I mean? If that's supposed to be the next unification, if there's something bigger on the table, the only thing that could be potentially bigger on the table other than the Sean Porter unification is Terrence Bud Crawford. It can't be Danny Garcia. That's my take.
Yeah, Reggie, you got something to say about that, brother?
No, he one of the ones hit it. Dang, I felt like he hit it right on the head with everything that he stated, man. But just even with Sean Porter talking greasy, he think he's trying to win over kind of the what is the thought of public opinion, but he didn't set himself wrong in the kind of in the wrong manner when it comes to boxing. He's kind of a third look when it comes to anything. Like Earl Spence said, he can sell out a family picnic, and I think that's the situation that plagues him from him avoiding things for so long to where fans just aren't clamoring for any kind of main event when it comes to him. He's kind of been foreshadowed by these two megastars in the welterweight division, and hey, it's just come back to haunt him. But yeah, I agree with everything that our fella said.
Okay. What about you, Hype? You got something to say on that?
Yeah, well, our fella, he said one of the partially how I feel about Sean trying to come in and make sure he secures something before he get left out in the cold. Because if he fight a tough fight, he at least rather be very rewarding financially. But as far as like the post that Bud put out there, I believe he probably really wasn't even in Dallas. He just wanted to throw that out as a just to make people think. I really think that it may not be next, but they probably just started working on the fight behind the scenes because they understand it's going to take some time. And both fighters, they're not just saying they want it, they really want it. So I feel that's the case. And just as far as Sean running his mouth, look, bruh, you've been running from this fight for like 3 years. So if Earl is just being quiet, even if he not talking to Bud next and he just being quiet, I'm not mad at the guy if he's being quiet as long as he's taking care of the business behind the scenes. I don't need a guy to be talking so much. But even if he wasn't, I'm not about to start bashing this dude when you've been acting like a girl for like 3-4 years. And I don't like
Yeah,
your daddy.
yeah, and you know something else? Uh, it was really hot for him when he won that fight over Garcia, and Earl was there to be in the ring and everything. And that was when he made that quote, "Oh, ain't no fear in my eyes," but Earl was there in the ring with him. That was his moment to make the deal with Earl for his fight next. Because coming off of that fight, everybody got a chance to see him because he had Garcia's fans out there, had his own following, how little it may be out there, and you had Earl in the house. He was supposed to make that fight then. He dilly-dallied around and he ran away from that. And Earl went on and had a big event with Mikey Garcia and everything. And he saw that money, that revenue that they were able to generate. And his greedy eyes and his pop's greedy eyes looked at that and said, you know what? We might be able to auction off our title with a secure bag and just head on out the sport at the same time. But the problem with that is the boxing public is smarter than they think. And in light of things like that happening and the roadblocks that they put up that didn't allow that fight to come forward or manifest next, like I said, Mikey and Earl put on an event. Earl looked great. His star rose even brighter. He proved he could pack a huge stadium in his home place, and everything's looking up for him. The other man in the division that's the real threat of everything is that Crawford, and nobody really wanted to go that way. And Earl knows that he can clean up on, like he said, his side of the street, and Crawford is going to be there. But nobody wanted to take on Earl. But now another issue has kicked in, and that is the fact that 2019 has reinstituted the year of the upset. And we've seen a couple of fights happen already, major titleists in so-called average events lose their titles. And so now the urgency to really step forward and do something, I think, is there because of the possibilities. Injuries, uh, outside of the ring antics with people getting in trouble with the law, having domestic issues, such and so forth, and upsets are now making a huge impact on the sport. And I think it's bringing guys back home to what's important. And if that is the influence in this, that's a good thing, because that means that nature has a way of righting itself, even when we don't see a way for it to manifest. And again, if that's what it takes to get these guys in the ring with one another so we could see the best fight the best and see the optimum matches at the divisions, then so be it. I'm all down for that. And I don't usually talk the politics of boxing, but I did feel that that was pretty solid news to open this program on this evening, because that's a super fight. And I was in 78's stream earlier and listening through the chat, and he said something that was very, indicative of what that means for this fight if it is made. This is this generation's Leonard and Hearns. And I am always down for something like that. And if it's great the first time, regardless of what the outcome is, we could be looking at a rematch. And if it's still good, we could be looking at a trilogy. So, and these guys, regardless of how it goes, they can benefit financially off of this. So, I mean, that's how I feel about it, fellas. You know what I mean? So, how do you guys feel off of what I've said? And we can start with Odd Fella. What do you think, Odd Fella?
Yeah, most definitely. I heard a bit of that. That 78 live stream tonight, and yeah, he hit it right on the head. You know what I mean? This is our generation's version of pretty much Hagler Hearns. You know, dig? Or not Hagler Hearns, but Leonard Hearns. Or either way you want to put it, you know what I mean? Two of the top guys in the division. But we'll stick to the welters, you know what I mean? But two of the top guys in the division going at it, you know what I mean? And there's such a divide with regards to the boxing community. Who's the better of the two? You know what I mean? It's pretty much split down the middle. I mean, 51-49, 50-50. You know what I mean? It's that close. You know what I mean? I remember a couple months back when the whole debate really started bubbling, came to a boiling point, and brothers were going back and forth. Really, you know what I mean? Really adamantly for their guy, you know what I mean? Well, whether you were with Bud Crawford or with Errol Spence. So definitely, this is our generation's version of Leonard Hearns, and and if this fight comes to fruition in the near future, yeah, us as, you know what I mean, LDBC representatives, we gotta show up and show out. You know what I mean? We gotta be there in full effect to support this fight. You know what I mean? Whether we're there in presence or whether we're there, you know what I mean, in the pay-per-view, buying the pay-per-view and whatnot. Because yeah, this is definitely a gift to a gift to the boxing fans if this fight is made. Because yeah, well, other than the biggest fight that we wanted made has been ruined. So the next biggest fight is this. You know what I mean? Crawford Spence. If it can happen, yeah, let's get it. Let's get it done. Let's not see something like Bud Crawford end up losing to a lackluster opponent, say like a Aegis Kaliakovich or something like that, in an upset loss, and then there goes the welterweight smoke. You know, dig? So hopefully they get it done sooner than later, so none of these things can, you know what I mean, happen, because really and truly, this is the fight that everybody wants to see in the welterweight division. All the other guys are just, you know what I mean, side dishes. Thurman, Pacquiao's, the Danny Garcias, the Sean Porters, side dishes. We want to see the main course. Terrence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's my take.
Yes, sir. Reggie, come on in with your thoughts on it too. What I said, and then also what the odd fella had to offer.
Man, yes, indeed, to both of what you guys said. And this is kind of what the fight world, even the casual world, has been beckoning for when it comes to people getting those nostalgic moments, being that these are two fighters who kind of bring you into kind of the heyday of historic boxing matches, where you even think of this in the same light of Hagler Hearns, Leonard Hearns, Leonard Hagler, and it kind of puts you in that real good spirit. And this is why this fight is so crucial, and especially with this kind of being in the kind of a critical point to where a lot of upsets have come about, throwing off other potential mega fights. So this is why this brings such urgency, as you were stating earlier, into why we have to get this. This is what the fight world wants. This is the fight that cities are going to fight to get, held at their venues. Especially, this is something I can see Vegas, kind of playing the tug of war to get in on. I can see Texas playing the tug of war to get in on, because this is major money in this fight. The implications behind this fight are major. They're going to be historic for both fighters. So them kind of playing around, prolonging this, is something we can't get, because right at the point of having two undefeated fighters who are kind of at the pinnacle of, both of them are at the pinnacle of success, but at the top of the hill. But we're looking for someone to take over the throne. This is why it's critical. It's been screwed up over in the heavyweight division. Don't know how they'll rebuild that. And it's been screwed up kind of in the middleweight division with the us not getting the Herd Charlo. But all in all, man, there's so much, so many implications behind this Crawford versus Spence bout. And man, hopefully they pull this off. This would be good bet. It'll put Bob Arum back in good standing. So, and I think it's kind of where Bob Arum is going with it, where he's waking up, being that he got the Tyson, he got out the way of the Tyson Fury Wilder rematch, as long as Fury and Wilder both, remain successful. But that's what I got on that one.
Yeah, Hyphy, come on in with your thoughts on it, bro.
Yeah, you know
we
what?
had to
I'm gonna bring a different take to it, but first I want to give you a chance to go ahead and hit the chat. We got some people coming in. Want to at least show them some recognition.
All right. Let's see what we got here. What's cooking? It says we got 25 people in here right now. Since we got cooking good, Bottom of Cali has joined us. Sheldon Holmes, Focus Ball, Boxing and MMA. Salute, what's going on? Hustler Slim, Gigi. I think I said hello to Gigi earlier. We got Neutral Natural in here. Charles D has joined us. Let's see. Ronald Finkley is in here. What's good, Ronald? Cass G, Jeffro Bodine is in here. What's going on? Mike Hennigan and Curtis Anderson. What's going on, Kurt? What's happening? Cass G. You know, before we slip too far off of that, Hyphy, I do want to get your comments. So you go ahead and say, what you think on that.
Well, yeah, look, on one point, it's cool that, this fight is possibly being worked out behind the scenes, getting a head start on it, because it might take some time, but I'm going to keep it chill with y'all. I really don't want to get back. I wish this would have stayed behind the scenes, because I'm tired of just the back and forth between the fans, just about this fight. I done seen a lot of, brothers in LDBC get mad at each other. Just even outside of LDBC, all types of beef and stuff play out over this fight. No lies. So That's the only part I'm not liking about this fight. I wish it just come out, just be done, and that's it, without just like everybody going back and forth. Because I've been told people it's okay to like both of these dudes. And as far as just that fight, yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I didn't already said it. I don't care if I gotta pay, bro. I got like up to a $10,000 limit on it. I will go see that fight no matter where it's at. If somebody out there, if they really want to see that fight, I will pay for their pay-per-view just for them to see that fight. No joke.
Yeah. Again, like someone said in the chat, these upsets is starting to shake these guys up. Now, our fella said something a moment ago when he was cooking on it that was very interesting too. Like, okay, say these fighters that's at the top of the sport, they unify and they start fighting each other, and we do get these in the glamour divisions. We get one face, one name, one champ, right? Guess what that'll also do that people don't realize? The champ, if he's undisputed, he can defend his titles once a year for each sanctioning body. And the way these guys are fighting now, they fight like once or twice a year to begin with. So let's just say he could defend 2 titles in a year. But that will force and initiate everyone who's not a champion to start having to face each other again. You see? And that's the other thing that it'll do to stimulate the sport. And you can't go, if you're in the top 10, you can't go reach outside. You can't go reach outside of the top 10, top 15 and start trying to fight guys that's in the top 25, top 30. You got to fight those guys that's in there with you. You understand? You can't go fighting bums. So it'll force these guys to start facing one another, and people will get knocked off. And in the meantime, a legitimate number one contender can be put in place for that next sanctioning body mandated number one contender challenger. So that is another way of looking at it. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's cool, man. I like for a situation that, puts, that creates this kind of arena to where people, folks who aren't the champions to really have to go in there, really compete, really give their all into the dethroning, the champion that holds it all. So that way we can get, people gonna work hard to become a lineal type champion. And I think that's the situation it creates with what you're saying, because it kind of puts the division in a situation where there's really just one title that floats around the division, and you really got to put your work, grind out to put yourself in position to get the opportunity, and just going in there to dethrone, the face of a division to become an lineal type champion at whatever division. But I think this is the way boxing should be set up in the first place, where there's just one holder of a title, but this will make folks really grind it out. And this is what, like you state, this is what boxing needs, man. Real competitive situations where these fighters are laying it on the line, just to capture that throne.
Yeah, I mean, I like how that sounds. I totally agree with that in theory, but in reality, will these sanctioning bodies allow that? We see what's going on with these sanctioning bodies. They keep on adding belts and little secondary and tertiary belts and all this fuckery. You know, dig? So they'll always make some type of way to make it easier for these fighters to not fight the best. Just so they can get they sanctioning fees, just so they can get their money at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm a believer. Yeah, it sounds good in theory, but I just need to see it happen first. You know what I mean? Because we've seen undisputed before, and it's like they make it so hard for these undisputed champions to defend. When's the last time we ever saw other than Usyk defended his undisputed crown, but only once, and that was it. When Bud Crawford was the undisputed, he didn't even get a chance to defend his shit before the IBF stripped his ass. You know, dig. So it, on paper it looks great, but I just need to see it in motion first.
Yeah. Okay. I wanna come back to that, but let me take a moment to go to the chat and acknowledge some more comments because we've still got people coming in. Cursor has joined us. Excuse me, tongue tied. Gil Coles has joined us. Cursor, thanks for subscribing, bro. Appreciate you. Um, Ronald Finkley says, I can't wait for Earl Spence versus Terrence MF Crawford. Salute. Yeah, Jay Good is with us. He says, peace to the channel and the chat. Uh, Bottom McCallie is shouting out Jay Good. Gil Cole says, have Spence and Porter made a fight date yet? Gil, I think it's under the works. You know, we'll see what happens. Blood Boxing is out there. Hey, Blood, what's going on, man? You never sent me your info, so I'm not able to send you a link or anything, but we would love to have you join us at some point if you want to get your information to me, bro. I appreciate it. You know, I want to get you on. Um, Bottom of Cali said, that's what I'm seeing, Blood Boxing. He says, Jay Good says, Bottom of Cali salute. Mike Hennigan, Blood Boxing salute. A lot of greetings here. I'm just trying to get. Dark Truth says exactly, odd fella. So he's agreeing with what you said. Blood says, Bottom of Cali, Ronald Fink. He's shouting out everybody. Reggie Owens. And let's see what else we got here. DOG 215 says, salute Stormy B, man. Okay, I got that for Blood. I am going to get Blood on here with us too, fellas, because you know when the veteran guys are on here and we're talking the good talk, we can make a lot of sense of things, and I still don't want anybody to lose that idea of what I had to say off of Oddfellas' comment. Yeah, I agree that the sanctioning bodies don't really want that undisputed thing where the guys would take longer to defend those titles. It's an annual thing with the number one contenders and whatnot. But that being said, you know, it's like this as well. Um, when the guys are holding titles, it depends on the character of the titleist. It depends on what kind of champion you got representing. You know, Bernard Hopkins, once he became undisputed middleweight champion, he defended all of his titles against all of his number one contenders because he appreciated being the the undisputed champion. I believe Deontay Wilder would do the same thing. I believe Earl Spence Jr. would do the same thing. I believe Terrence Crawford would do the same thing if these guys became titleists. Now, when you have wishy-washy champions like the Sean Porters and the Danny Garcias and the Keith Thurmans and the Kovalevs and those guys, they don't necessarily want to defend against the top opposition. They just want to be able to say that they are champions, continue to pad their records against questionable opposition. But when you have true men who hold those titles, they'll defend them against whoever. Because once you become that champion, you have proven yourself. You have put all answers or questions to rest. And see, we haven't had that in such a long time. Even Floyd Mayweather Jr., for as many titles as he won and had for his undefeated record in the ring, he didn't go for undisputed because there was always another fighter out there that he could have fought to become undisputed, and then he turned away from that and he dropped belts. See, that's the one thing you don't look at. But there are fighters out there who will cut their teeth, and they don't care if they put it on the line because they want legacy. And there's a few of those guys out there, and I believe you give them an opportunity, they will defend. And like I said, as the heavyweights go, the rest of boxing. So if Deontay Wilder could some kind of way within the next year and a half become undisputed heavyweight champion, you will see the other divisions begin to fall in line. What do you guys got to say about that? And let's go with Reggie. What do you have to say about that, Reggie?
No, I totally agree with you on that. I agree 100% with everything you said. I couldn't even add anything more to it because I'm right in agreement with everything that you said on that one.
Okay, Hyphy, you there? Go ahead.
No, it's on Oddfellow first.
Okay, fella, go ahead.
All right. I mean, yeah, I'm in total agreement with that as well. Um, I just like I'm just still I'm just skeptical about these sanctioning bodies. So my solution, I'm not one of those guys that is going to complain and complain and complain and give complaints about a problem, but not give you some type of solution or recommendation. So like you were saying, Stormy B, as the heavyweight division goes, the rest of the boxing, you know what I mean, divisions go. Everything under, you know what I mean? They're gonna follow suit. So theoretically, if Deontay Wilder was to obtain those and capture the undisputed crown, in my opinion, I'm hoping that he throws every belt away. You know what I mean, and just goes off. I'm a proponent of lineal status. You know what I mean, the man that beats the man. You know what I mean, and when he establishes himself as the man, there's no reason for these other belts. You know what I mean? He has them all. He owns them all. He probably gets a little. He'll probably have his replica belts at home, but throw them away. Don't, you know what I mean? You have them, then just be the lineal, and you get to decide who's the number one, who the number two is, or who you gonna fight next, or whatever. You know what I mean? That's my opinion, man. To me, we got to move away from these belts, man. Like I say, I liken these belts, these sanctioning body belts, to Gucci, Montclair. You know what I mean? Prada. All these like brand names that we, you know what I mean, in the hip hop community, in the urban community, we exalt, but they making fun of us at the same time and taking our money and not putting no money back into the community. Sanctioning bodies are doing the same thing. Let's get rid of them. I'm about that lineal.
But oh, can I let me feed in on that? I just got one question, if that's cool, Stormy.
Go ahead. Absolutely, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with that, when this for our fellas, so how do we go about uh, 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 doing such a move as far as releasing these belts almost without kind of being viewed and looked at in the same light as a Riddick Bowe for dumping away these titles, being in the current situation to where everything's based on you holding these belts. How if Wilder was to accomplish that, how can he drop these belts and still remain in the light to where people view him as the lineal champion? Do you think it'll create a situation where people be like, the hell with him, we're gonna bypass him, do the sidestep and go right after these belts? Now everything's now the attention is captured back on us. How do you avoid that?
There can't be. Deontay Wilder needs to keep winning spectacularly, and we need to keep the media and everybody that's knowledgeable needs to keep recognizing him as the number one, and all these other belts will be devalued. You know what I mean? It's just like the IBO. You know what I mean? As much as I like their ranking systems and the computerized ranking systems, their belt holds no value. You know what I mean? Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. can hold it all he wants and say he got 4 belts, but at the end of the day, nobody really recognizes the IBO. You know what I mean? It's not valuable. You know what I mean? Well, we need to get these other belts. We need to devalue these other belts, because true indeed, we know the WBC, even though that we look at them as the most prestigious, we should be also looking at them as the most corrupt, because they've been doing a lot of fuck shit. In the dig, we talking about the WBA with their with their secondary titles. They say they're talking about, yeah, we're going to consolidate the belts, the world belt with the super belt. And when that happens, a year later, they open back the world belt they give the world belt or make it available for somebody else to fight. You know what I mean? They never keep it true. They never keep it 100. So I mean, it's all about the devaluation of these belts. So yeah, these other fighters, they may want to grab these belts to say they have something, but at the end of the day, they won't be viewed as the number one. They won't be viewed as the man. They won't be viewed as the lineal. And even if some guy, say the blouse snatcher, you know what I mean? The Wilder throws away all his belts. He unified and he has an undisputed crown. That's what the motherfucker should have, a crown. Fuck these belts, you know what I mean? But he throws away all his belts. And then Dillian White, the belt snatcher, comes up from behind and starts snatching up all those belts. And now he got all the 4 major sanctioned body belts. Are we gonna call him the man? Isn't everybody gonna demand Dillian White to be the next opponent for Wilder? So I still think it can work. You know what I mean? It's just about, we gotta recognize and cement and keep plugging and tell you this is the number one. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to take it back to the chat for a moment because we cooking really good here. Ronald Finkley is in here. Mark Wunderlich. Let's see. 88 Sports Talk has joined us. One of them ones media. He's shouting out Ronald Finkley, Mark Wunderlich, and BFTB Boxing. BFTB is in the house. What's good, BFTB? We got DOG 215. Focus Ball, Boxing and MMA. What's good, BFTB, man? I'm glad to see you out here with us tonight, man. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Gil Coles, Reef the Watcher is here. He says facts. Ronald Finkley says Pac looks sharp today. Let's get it. Pac gonna whoop Keith Thurman, man. You can put that in the bank. Ronald Finkley says the belts are back and Deontay Wilder, aka Thanos, is coming. LDBC Bomb Squad is hot. That's right. Mike Hennigan says, Nassim the Dream, salute, bro. Yeah, what's good, Nassim the Dream? Glad you stopped by this evening, bro. Who else we got out here? I think that's it. I got Dark Truth. You know, Hyphy, if you have something to say about that situation, please go ahead and cook on it, man. I think if you do get a guy that solidifies the undisputed title, he becomes the man, and then that's whose butt you got to kick, no matter what belt you pick up or whatever. That's the champ, but that has to take place first, So go ahead, Hyphy.
Oh no, I think Oddfella pretty much said everything I have to say. But since you just said that, if you get all the belts undisputed, you the man. So I want to say, if you get undisputed and you move up and weight, you should have some type of priority as far as finding the top guys. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm hitting at. These dudes, they want to play this game with Crawford. Oh, he has to do something. He has to prove himself. But these dudes was licking their chops when it came time for Danny to come up. He ain't have to do nothing.
Yeah, I think the road to undisputed. What's happening too is this: some of those guys, they know unifying. Again, this goes back to the protecting records and whatnot. Some of those guys realize by unifying against another champ, or I might lose my belt. He becomes a belt. Now I'm without a belt. I don't have that luster. I get another loss on my record or a loss on my record, blah, blah, blah. But they're not looking at it about being the best. So guess what? You don't deserve to be a champion if you don't have a champion type mindset. Get the hell out of here with that weak shit. You know what I mean? We want to see the best fighting the best. So therefore, if you ain't got the nuts to put it online, well, maybe you need to go take up crochet or something. Because boxing is where you have to really take it and put it on the line. And if you're just walking around and you want to hold some trinkets or so, go work in a damn jewelry store. Huh? This is boxing, man. And there's too many of these guys out here. They run around, and I think sometimes when you see them come in the ring and they have them strange outfits on, looking like skirts and everything, maybe they got it twisted, huh? This ain't a dance contest. This is boxing. You get punched in the face, huh? So maybe these weak guys need to go on because they don't want to unify. They don't want to be the best. They don't want to test their metal. Maybe they got aluminum, huh? It ain't no metal. Reggie Owens, what you got to say, bro?
Man, I agree with that, man. I think it's time to start manning up these sports. That's what pushed me away from other sports. There's a lot of other sports become too sissified. This prima donna type mentalities and attitudes of fighters have kind of become infested within the sport to where people get these titles and now they think they're above the sport. They think they're above the meaning. They try to redefine what it means to be a champion and a title holder. And a lot of people kind of shift that blame over to Floyd Mayweather, which I don't think is even warranted because Floyd Mayweather did the appropriate things to earn that right to build himself up, and he didn't act like these guys who are acting how they act now, to where they think they get a title and they tell other fighters they need to do this and that in order to get this opportunity to get a shot at the belt. Uh, and that falls on these fighters. Everything has to be, the blame has to be pointed towards the ones who are presenting this behavior and not scapegoating it and relegated to somebody who doesn't exist in the sport. These other fighters who are doing this have to be held up to the standard where they're not acting like men within the sport. They have to be admonished until they are, kind of faded away from the sport. And matter of fact, people ought to use that as a lesson or a learning tool that you do not behave that way because the fighters who thought they can get away with that have been made examples out of, i.e., Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, uh, Anthony Joshua. The list goes on. So yeah, it's time for these guys to act like men up, and give us the fights we want. Stop acting above the meaning of being a champion and trying to get above the product of the sport. But that's all I have on that one.
Indeed, indeed. I wholeheartedly agree with that, but at the same time, you have to be realistic and understand that it is sport, but it is entertainment, and there is nefarious activities and agendas that you know what I mean go along with go along with this entertainment and sport. So therefore, we might have to get used to seeing some of the sissification of our sport in the day because for certain to be real, man, you know what I mean. Certain dudes, they go the other way just to get that bag. You know, dig. You know what I mean, and do certain things. So, uh, that's all. I don't even want to delve too deep into you know what I mean, into this subject. You know what I mean. I don't want to take no streams down or nothing like that because I can go deep, deep, deep. You know what I mean, into that Mariana's Trench deep. But yeah, the sissification of the sport definitely there's an agenda behind it, you know what I mean, and uh us, we can recognize it and hopefully try to retard it and slow it down, but yeah, man, it's a big thing. It's an elephant in the room that's, you know what I mean, that's lurking, and honestly, we might just have to get used to it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good subject to open the program on because believe it or not, fellas, we really cooked on that. We've already breezed through that first hour, and we don't have to drain ourselves on something like that. But there is something else that I would like to throw out there that's kind of still along the lines of what we saw recently with the big upset in the heavyweight division last week. I wanted to ask you, brothers, since the consensus now really appears to be solidified that the champion from the UK, former champion from the UK, was nothing more than a glorified prospect who happened to have titles in his possession. What do you think will require someone in his position to get back on track? And let's talk on that, because this is about the X's and O's of boxing, even though it may not appear to be. Because you have a prospect, he's suffered a setback. How do you first and foremost go about righting the wrongs and correcting to right the ship? With someone that was in a position like he was with titles, of course you have to be very careful, because if you send him right back into the fire and he suffers another loss, it could be extremely debilitating for the career going forward, if not even ending the career. So, with that being said, I would like to bring my new brother here, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. What would you like to offer on that?
Man, in this one, it's kind of right now where his career sits is kind of like being in the cliffhanger movie situation. He's just hanging on by one hand, his weak hand. And kind of what I look for him to kind of reverse what happened to get his career back on track is following right in the lines. I was watching that Lennox Lewis interview the other day, and it was about him switching out that coach. Being in Lennox's career, when he was going through his steps of becoming a champion, he had to graduate, move on to different coaches, being that he was in a situation with coaches who were limited on what they can teach him. And luckily, he was with coaches that cared enough about him to push him on to somebody who can present, new things to develop him into becoming a greater champion. That coach that AJ is sticking with, and I hear that this dude is out of the amateur system. And also during his fight career, he wasn't that much of a fighter. Not saying that takes away from anybody from not being great of a fighter, meaning they can't be a greater teacher. But based on what we're seeing from AJ and what AJ lacks, but has been able to get away with, he needs to graduate to a new coach, to a whole new system. And even with that UK system has a history of failing when it comes to moving over into this global market. So I think for him to reverse his career, getting on the right track, is to bring himself over here, meet up with this American style of coaching, because the Europeans are doing it as well. Maybe if he and trust his coach, he feel comfortable with his coach, bring the coach along, but he has to graduate into getting new instructions and following up under a new system. And like they say, iron sharpens iron. He needs to get better sparring, because I hear he's sparring amateurs, and that's why he got whooped on when he stepped in to spar with some of these pros. But that's the way I look at for AJ to get his career back on track, is to graduate, move on to new system of training, and I'll end from right there.
Indeed. Um, yeah, my take is this is a hot topic too. You know what I mean?
Hold on one second, fella. Before
Yeah,
you
go
cook,
ahead.
I'll give you 1 second. I just want to take the moment and welcome everybody. Quattro Cinco has Act Reacher has joined us too. So our fella, you go ahead, and then Quattro, you can come on in with something after our fella finishes. Welcome, bro.
Yes,
Go ahead,
sir.
our fella.
Salute Quattro, Act Reacher 45 in the building. You know, dig. But yeah, just to reiterate what Reggie was saying. Yeah, that was a beautiful point. The way even Lennox displayed this point with you can't, I mean, be the, you know what I mean, go into the championship realms with your third grade teacher. You know, dig. You need to You need to move up the rungs, you know what I mean, and go to and start to add different coaches, graduate different levels, the coaches that can bring more to the table, bring more to your game, you know, dig. And it seems like one thing even before this loss we were saying about AJ's plateaued. You know what I mean? He's plateaued and regressed. We haven't seen much we haven't seen any type of improvement. You know what I mean? So I think it is a absolute necessity for him to get a new trainer. And not just because of the X's and O's. I think if what happened was true with him being, for one, sparring 8 days before the fight, that's on the trainer, you know, dig, because he should have he shouldn't have been allowing that, you know, dig. If he did it 8 days before and get knocked down and concussed, and they still went through with the fight, your trainer is supposed to be identify how you're reacting, who you are. And if he saw he should have sensed some type of danger, some type of oddity with AJ. AJ ain't the same, man. Maybe we gotta pull out of this fight. You know what I mean? But he didn't care about that. He just wanted to go through with the motions. He's a handler. You know what I mean? Just like Eddie Hearn is. That's why Eddie Hearn, if you ask him the question, he's adamant that Robert McCracken got to be with AJ, because Robert McCracken is a handler. Not so. Can we call him a real trainer, or is he really just a handler to kind of put AJ in the position that Eddie Hearn wants him to be? He needs to. So AJ needs to man up and get rid of this whole. He needs to understand that his team's a facade. You know, dig. And I'm hoping he continues to stay in New York. You know what I mean? Because I seen a video of him out there, and he's, you know what I mean, carefree. You know what I mean? Trying to play ball. He got no skills, but his shooting form was decent for a guy that don't know how to play basketball. But as far as being a 6'6" guy, you know what I mean, dribbling the ball, he seems very unathletic. But he's out there. You know what I mean? He was out there in the public, getting roasted. You know what I mean? Taking his lumps. And you know what? I kind of respect that about him. You know, dig? So I think the more and more he's in America, the more and more he's gonna get the real, bro. Because he's living out there and everybody's just gassing him. Premium petrol. You know what I mean? And they're not giving him the real, bro. That's another factor. He needs to relocate and spend more time with the real. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there ain't no trill ones out in the UK, because one of them ones media is damn sure trill. You know, dig? Lost D, trill. You know what I mean? There's man them out there that is trill. But I think, AJ, if you want to be successful in this world boxing game, you got to make it in America, bro. You know what I mean? And that first introductory, he failed. So, it's time he needs to identify those other underlying problems that were going on in his camp and eliminate them. So my assessment, just to wrap it up, trainer, and he needs a relocation change. He needs to roll with the brothers, get himself, you know what I mean, get himself some swag, get his mojo back. You know, dig? And that's my take.
Looks like Ack fell off. I was just gonna go to him next. I'll take a moment to go to the chat. You back with us, Ack? Okay.
Nah, they threw me out. I don't know what happened. They just threw me out.
Bumped you out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you go ahead and cook on it too, bro. Do you know what the what the subject is right now? What we talking?
Yeah. Are you talking about AJ, the state of him?
Yeah. Like, and if you looking at him going forward, we consider him a prospect. That's what he was, a prospect with titles. So At this juncture, now he suffered this huge setback. What do you see as a path of him putting him back on track going forward?
I personally think that going forward, he should. I'm not going to necessarily say that he needs like time off, like that. I'm not. I just feel as though he shouldn't get Andy Ruiz back in the ring right this second. I think that he should have a confidence booster fight after he's done with the confidence booster fight. See what's left. See if anything is still there. If that spark is still there. Um, and then from there, I would say challenge Andy Ruiz. I wouldn't. I mean, if you had, even though I think that the contract they're gonna honor it and try to go right back into the fight, but even if he is gonna go right back into the fight, AJ could get ready physically. I just question whether like his coach is good at coaching him on the mental aspect of the game. Like, and then another thing I'm worried about too is, excuse me, sorry. I'm worried about like why would you be sparring so close to the fight? You know, usually, that week or so. I know some people 2 weeks before the fight. It's more strategizing and preparing your fighter mentally. I feel like as a good coach, and maybe that is what it comes down to, like our fella's talking about. Maybe it is a coach. I mean, this is the same coach. I think Rob McCracken was a 2012 Olympic coach, so he kept AJ since then. So, but I don't know, man. I just think that maybe it might be a trainer issue, and then it may be him as an individual. I think that he has to like learn how to get trained for a fight mentally. I think that's one thing that he didn't master yet. I think the physical things he has it to beat him because he did knock Ruiz down, and his combination was pretty solid that he put together. That left hook he caught Ruiz at the end of the punch and put him down with. But I just think that it's a lack of mental fortitude, on AJ's behalf, and it could be the corner too. It could be stale in the corner because a lot of fighters are firing trainers, man. You know, look at Amir Khan and Jarrett Hurd. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much. I don't want to get too long winded, but that's pretty much what I think about it. I think it's a mental aspect. I think AJ needs a coach that possibly, and I can't say that Rob McCracken isn't that good at training somebody mentally for a fight. It's just what he's shown in AJ. It didn't show. It didn't show when it should have.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Before we go any further there, I want to take a moment to go right back to the chat because we've got, I think it says we got about 30 people watching now. Smash the like button, people, if you're out there and you're enjoying this conversation this evening, the chop session, please smash the like button. I want to go back to Dark Truth. He says, can Undisputed focus some of the blurred lines that comes with lineal? The lineal line seems to cause confusion from a little bit I heard. Nassim the Dream says, thanks for wrenching me, Stormy B man. Oh man, you've earned that wrench, brother. Appreciate you being out there. Jay Good says, I'm with Odd on lineal. The problem is not enough people will buy into that, and they will only respect ABC titles versus to be the man, you have to beat the man. Gil Cole says that Ronald Finkley, cool, but let's assume Thurman win. Who should he fight next? Ronald Finkley says Gil Cole's, if he really in the game to fight Earl Spence, if if T Crawford is busy. Bottom McCallie said, good breakdown at J Good Facts. Neutral Natural says people overrate fighters that are multiple time division champions. Gil Cole says, Ronald Finkley, that's what I want to see. Ronald Finkley says, Jamal need to talk to LDBC as soon as possible if he wants the Triple G fight. Smoke that MF out. Yeah. Uh, Mike Hennigan says, at Ronald Finkley, facts. Neutral Natural says, Charlo Brothers not accessible to the fans. Joseph Brown has joined us. He says, salute Joseph Brown. Ronald Finkley says, I don't even see Andre acting right, shaking my head. Ronald Finkley says, Black Murderers Roll. Neutral Natural says, Jamel said, F the fans, and his big bro probably thinks the same. It's his fault for not going in the IBF route. And Chico gets another title shot since he's a Mando. Machine the Dream says facts at Reggie Owens. Jay Good says bottom of Cali salute. I'm a traditionalist in that respect. It's going to take someone like Wilder, go undisputed, then come beat me. And now Wilder trashing the belts. You got to pay for him anyway. I'm going to skip a little bit on the greets. Ronald Finkley says, always bang new media on all y'all social media chat. Salute real boxing talk. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says, I subscribed to the channel not too long ago. Great boxing talk family. Thanks, Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk. Let's see what else we got here. Ron Finkley says, if AJ stay, he got to learn how to be a dog. Gil Cole says, AJ is done. Mike Hennigan says, Lil Pup Pup needs a new trainer. Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk says Andy Ruiz is a bad stylistic matchup for AJ. Ronald Finkley says they think it's a game, it's a fight. Derek Bailey has joined us. He says, salute Stormy B-Man. KO is here. He says, what up, Stormy B-Man? Neutral Natural says these black trainers need to stay in the U.S. to help our U.S. amateurs and young fighters. I think it's going to be a couple of guys medaling next year in the Olympics. Yeah, that's another thing. We need our boxing trainers here, the Buddy McGirts, the Ronnie Shields, Virgil Hunter, all those guys, they need to invest in our fighters here, man. Stop trying to train those guys who are coming over here trying to steal the shine from our domestic fighters, because you know the thing is, like, when you're doing that, you're taking away from your homegrown talent. I mean, are you going to grow in your garden and feed the person over in the next neighborhood? No, you can grow in your garden and bring your stuff and put it in your pantry. Huh? You could feed homeless, you could feed someone in need, but you're not growing it to outsource it. Huh? That's what has to be understood here. And you know who else could be a big role in that? The fighters who are the good champions, the Deontay Wilders, the Earl Spencers. They could talk to their trainers and then they come say, hey, convince them and let them know, hey, we want our homegrown talent to be developed here. There's nothing wrong with AJ trying to come over here if he wants to get better, but I think there is a problem if you're trying to get AJ just to be better so he could defeat who's here. I mean, do you guys understand what I'm saying? What do you think about that sentiment, Reggie Owens?
Yeah, wait, state that last part for me one more time.
No, I was saying that it's one thing for AJ to want to come over here and get better, okay? But it's another thing for him to want to come over here just to beat who's here. You understand? But I don't think
Right,
that we
right.
should invest in those kind of guys, simply for trying to make them better than our guys. But if it's about educating and learning, that's one thing. I don't shun anybody's knowledge and pursuit of knowledge and growth and development. But if you're talking about smashing what we have here with what our toolbox is here, no, I'm not down with that. What do you have to say about that?
Right, you're absolutely right on that one, and I'm kind of conflicted. I wish that's why I kind of paid homage to Buddy McGirt yesterday, and I was really happy to see him get into the Hall of Fame finally. But it was really the thing that captivated. I was always following, always held Buddy McGirt in high regards as a boxer. He was one of my favorites back then. But once he left the sport, his dedication to going into the amateur program, and he spoke highly about how the amateur system was failed. It was neglected. The people who were in there supposed to be coaches. They were, coaches with no understanding of what the hell they were teaching. And he spoke highly about the thing that's lacking within the sport is that there are no good teachers. The good teachers have faded away. Immediate fighters who've given their all to the sport, kind of walk away from the sport. They don't come back to become ambassadors to teaching, the true art of the sport. And it's like too many people are coming in here looking to line their pockets up real quick versus,
Reggie, you
uh,
definitely right about that though. What you said
oh
a
yeah,
little
yes,
bit before. Sorry to cut you off, but a little bit what you said before. A lot of the dudes that were in the sports that were great champions don't come back and don't help out, and that's it. I think that right there will help the amateur system right there a lot.
oh yes, indeed. Yeah, the sport that people have to continue to be ambassadors, especially athletes, and especially with the star power. They are the ones who can, grasp the ear and minds of young and up and coming fighters. To where this thing isn't what they say. It isn't a race; it's a marathon. So people have to be more patient and take the right steps into really building their careers for longevity, success, and then going off into kind of iconic type status. But I agree with that. But it was like where our coaches should dedicate more to our youth and the other programs. But a lot of these foreigners are the ones coming over here based on that money coming over here to pay for these teachers. America, and that falls in. I don't want to go off of some social stuff, but it's like the system does nothing to give back to our boxing program. And I don't even know where's the money that funds the Olympic system. What's happening with that? But that's what I have on that one. I'll kick it over to the next brothers.
Well, I'll tell you something before anybody else goes on with what happens to the money. Well, look at these fighters who garner these exorbitant paydays now, huh? There's only so much bling you can put on your body, huh? There's only so many cars you could have in your driveway, huh? Evander Holyfield, back in his heyday, had a 41 room mansion or something in Atlanta. What the hell is that? You see how displaced a person can be psychologically, okay? Because poverty is a way of life for a lot of people in America, okay? But I'm gonna tell you something. You come into something, the best way to bring forth good fruit is to replenish. And that's something that is not taught. You understand? That is something that is learned, which is two different things, especially when you're talking about who's the student and who's doing the teaching. You see, this is why more development is needed. The outsourcing, where they're getting these guys coming from over here, that's basically telling you they ain't doing it for nothing but the dollar. So they hoes to the system. Huh? They're hoes. Look at Virgil Hunter. He'd rather look shitty training two guys back to back, getting their asses beat by American fighters. Okay? And he suffers as a trainer for it. I wouldn't go to Virgil Hunter. Somebody say, well, he could get a guy in the best shape that he could be in or whatever. But he don't give a damn about me. Huh? When I work with guys in the gym, I was always concerned with their health, well-being first, that they were taken care of physically and psychologically first. Anybody can ball their fist up and punch another person in the face, but not everybody knows how to stand in the eye of the storm and evade a punch, how and when and where and why to evade a punch, to execute what you want to do to the other man and have him questioning and wondering, how in the hell did you do that? We're
Uh,
two guys facing one another at the same time, but you seem to be a little bit psychologically and physically sharper than me. How does that happen? Preparation is how it happens. You see? And if you got empty ass trainers, these are the type of results that you get. Mr. Devin Alexander, huh? Oh, I'll get Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. to train me for my next fight. Well, Roy Jones Jr. never fucking had, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but he never had technical boxing skills. He was one of the most rarest athletic fighters in the last 20th century, you know, and he had gifts that the average guy don't have. But as soon as that waned and dissipated, look what happened to him. Knockout after knockout after knockout. And look who was still going strong. One of the guys he with that superior athleticism, Bernard Hopkins. Huh? Still going strong while Roy was being knocked out. You see, lessons in life, they're right before you. But like I said, it depends on who's the student and who's doing the teaching. I'm sorry that I ran it on like that, brothers, but you can go ahead. Hyphy, I ain't heard from you in a minute. Please come on in, brother, with whatever you have to offer.
All right, well, shit. For one, I kind of feel guilty of even, giving this whole ass dude some type of advice because I still don't like him. But y'all all hit the points, man. Cuddy need a new trainer, of course. What he needs to do, I don't want to tell him. I hope he go right back into a rematch and get smashed on again. I'm just still ecstatic about how a dude with all these physical advantages could even get put in a position of being not just knocked down but hurt by a dude he had every single advantage over. And I just want to point out before we move on to something, this shows what the difference between a guy that's just built up and real elite fighters. I look at Earl versus Mikey when Earl had, such a size advantage, but you seen Earl using his size advantage and whipping on Mikey with more than just his size advantage. This dude had every tool, was in training camp twice as longer, and was just getting dogged. Like, he should have never been in that position. So just don't never refer to this dude as elite anymore.
Quattro, you got something to say, bro?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I agree with you 100% with the training thing. I was just gonna say real quick, I felt that way about John David Jackson. I forgot who he was training, and he had got knocked out, and I just felt like, damn, like he didn't. Oh, it was my cousin's cousin, Curtis Stevens. That's who it was. That's who. And I felt like, damn, like he didn't even care. Like, I don't know, I just didn't see no reaction from him. That's all I had to say. You just want to get you a trainer that cares. You just want to be in sync because that's important.
Well, Quattro, I know you're a fighter, but I'm gonna say this too. It's one thing to be in sync, okay? Uh, Bruce Lee had a saying in his martial art philosophy. He said, "Rehearsed routines lack the flexibility to adapt, you know, and it doesn't fit in with broken rhythm. It's okay to have a rapport, but that person has to care about you, man. If you don't care about you, you become just simply a commodity, okay? But you are a living, breathing person. In that ring, you can die in there. If this person is not looking out after you as if they were looking out after themselves, you don't need them. This is why the philosophy of Virgil Hunter taking a check for people who don't give a damn about him, but they just want to be able to have an opportunity to prevail over someone over here. Well, what does Virgil Hunter really care about at the end of the day? Is it the dollar or the dude? You see what I'm saying? Virgil Hunter can go to hell because there are people out here that can set a better example. I bet you Ronnie Shields won't be doing that foolishness. Huh? Nazir Richardson won't be doing that. Huh? These guys understand what it's like. You hear the real coach. These young men are like my sons. That's what you want because they're gonna look out for your best interest, even when you're acting up the most. Okay? Even when you ain't listening to him. Even when you don't think he know everything, but he do, because he looking out after you. That's what makes the difference. And if he can bring to you the proper foundation, maybe you won't be thinking down the line, if you're successful, you won't need the 41 room mansion and 20 cars in the driveway, huh? And be broke within 7 years, huh? Maybe you'll have a little something to give back to the program for that little 8-year-old who 10 years from now want to be on track to where you were, huh? You giving them something. You help the gym, a new facility with new equipment and with new tournaments, sponsorship, all of that kind of stuff, gear, huh? Self-investment, man, and self-preservation and development. That's what it's about. But it's kind of hard when these guys are sleeping in silk pajamas and running around with Instagrams and Kardashians on their arms, huh? Devin Haney, Black Chinas and stuff, huh? All of that is foolishness, man. It's foolishness. There is a long lineage and history of men who have fallen by the wayside, and you see it. You can look at the history, you can read about it, you can reflect and open the newspapers. But why are you following the same damn path? Did you grow up in a household where you say, Mom, can I go do what? And your mom say, well, if Johnny go and jump off a cliff, you're going to jump off a cliff too? You're going to look at her and say, no. But why are you jumping off the cliffs of these same fighters that came before you, doing the same stupid stuff and ended up in the same broken tank? Because then nobody care about you? Think about that. All right, fella, come on in, brother.
Yeah, indeed. Nice little synopsis of that. Definitely. um, just going back to the whole training situation, because I think I alluded to it weeks past. And this was a conversation about the heavyweight division, specifically in America. And it's like, where's the development of the American heavyweights? Like right now, we have Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz. Ruiz is what, 29 years old. Wilder's 33 or something like that, 33, 34. We can't expect these guys to be, you know what I mean, here forever. So who are the next American heavyweights, you know what I mean, to take the reins? And when I asked that question, it was hard for anybody to give me any, you know what I mean, legitimate answers of who are those next heavyweights, American heavyweights that are going to be champions. You know what I mean? That we look at and it's going to be, yeah, I could see him being a unified or an undisputed.
Hasim Rahman Jr. Hasim Rahman Jr. Okay, you happy?
Nah, I ain't happy yet because I don't believe you, bro. you just throwing out names, bro. Throwing out names. Hasim Rahman Jr. Okay, we'll see. You know what I mean? But I mean, he still don't have that height. What does he have any what kind of accolades does Hasim Rahman Jr. got? That's what I'm saying. Like, and I don't know if that goes back to these, like, it goes back to these turncoat trainers, because when we speak of Virgil Hunter, I readily think, he got Tony Yoka, a Frenchman, and then he has another heavyweight, another good size heavyweight prospect, and I think he's French as well. Where are the American heavyweights, though? You know what I mean? All these guys seem to be training foreign talent. You know what I mean? Instead of the instead of their own? Do we go as far as taking some of our American talent and utilizing some of the coaches from elsewhere around the world? Yes, we like to think that America has the best coaching talent, but there is talent in other places of the world as well. So if the man them are getting shitted on in their own soil, maybe they got to take this talent somewhere else.
That would be a consideration if the analogy that I made earlier weren't in play. You don't plant and grow in your garden and then outsource the produce somewhere else. You feed home first. Second, and last. Huh? Who's gonna make you come and leave your house? Fella, you've been here for a few years now. It's time for you to get up and leave, buddy. We want this space right now over my dead body. Huh? That's your home. You understand? And you will fight for your home. So again, the analogy is understanding what you're fighting for. Who's the student and who's the teacher? If the message that's being taught is empty or not useful, you have to find a better teacher. Okay? But being able to recognize that you're not getting proper direction and instruction is key. That comes with life experience. So guess what? The little children, the babies, they rely upon the elders of the nest to provide them with necessities and proper instruction and direction and everything. And if you see it faltering and it's not taking place in the manner in which it should, someone is supposed to take responsibility and accountability. But when you turn your back and say, well, I'm going to go on over here to this other place, what's going to happen to those left behind? I'll wait.
Oh, not a damn thing.
Absolutely. 1 second, I want to hit this chat up. We got people really moving in here now. Um, Brown on Boxing says 45, talk that talk. Ronald Finkley says, thanks, Joseph Brown. We making boxer greater, bro. Trust. Mike Hennigan says, Abel Mahari, salute. Nassim the Dream says, y'all making some good points. Clifton Bronson says, great points, panel. Reef the Watcher says, facts, brother. Broderick Hunter says, the physicality is just a part of it. The competitive spirit comes from within. AJ showed he didn't have it. He quit. Joseph Brown says, Stormy B, do you think there's a high lack of trust in trainers with fighters of today? I think that the fighters have the same approach to the trainer that the trainer has to the fighter. Both are using one another as a source of economics, okay, but not anything that can be fed to the spirit and the soul. In other words, if I'm the trainer, I care about you. I'm going to look out for your well-being as if I'm looking out for myself or a family member or even my child, okay? And you as the fighter should look at me as like I'm your brother or your uncle or whatever, and you don't want to see anything bad happen to me either, and you're going to take my counsel and my teaching to you because it's beneficial. There's a payoff at the end of this, a dividend, okay? But if you're just looking at me like I hire him to do a job, and I look at you as you're paying me to do a job. There's no reciprocity in that. There's just business. Okay? And sometimes business stinks. Huh? Brown on Boxing says he will realize his error once he's broke. Ronald Finkley says Beverly Rose had a great bio today. Support that new media, LDBC. Mike Hennigan says outstanding boxing knowledge being dropped tonight. Don Dada says salute, chop session. Ronald Finkley says we do, bro. Mike Hennigan says Don Donna, salute, my brother. Ronald Finkley says UK stand up then. Joseph Brown says I think there's less gyms in the urban neighborhoods and less programs. We as a boxing community need to see how we can improve these areas, funding youth boxing programs like how other sports do. Let's see. Ronald Finkley says, yeah, indeed, Joseph Brown. PAL police program used to be official in AC. Nassim the Dream says, boxing is the hardest sport to stay on top. When you win that belt, be aware of the thoughts. Ronald Finkley says, I grew up with fighters. Brown on Boxing says, salute to the chat. You know, Hyphy's been kind of quiet. Come on in, Hyphy, and say something, brother, please.
Oh man, I was definitely just more playing in the background. We got some good brothers that I talk to a lot. I just want them to get their shine off. But no, I'm definitely here, man. We've been killing the shit out of AGCJ. I love cracking on AGCJ.
Speaking of which, AGCJ, let's give him some more crack. Put some more cracks on his name. You in the dig?
There we go.
But after this, because this whole situation is being like broken down like a biopsy. How did AJ lose? And but was it in training? Was it this or was it that? But I'm gonna present a new theory. You know what I mean? Because I'm the odd fella, and the odd fella always tries to look outside the box. You know the dig? So I know this theory might be way out there, but I'm gonna present it anyways. You know dig? So how about this? Looking at the results right now, we all know that AJ lost, but the numbers, yes, there's some numbers that came out that, according to DAZN, they only did, or not according to DAZN, but there's reports that there's only 5 to 10,000 viewers on DAZN. You know, dig? Forget about that. Who cares? Let me talk about the illegal streams. You know what I mean? And there was a report out there that there was something over like with 13 million illegal streams to watch this fight. You know what I mean? Now, of course, that doesn't translate into money, but I'm not an accountant. I don't give a fuck about the money. You know, dig? I believe AJ's popularity has increased. You know what I mean? Since this fight is taking place, you know, dig? And I think it might be exponentially increased due to this loss. You know what I mean? It's being talked about. We're now a week, six days removed, and we're still talking about it strong. You know, dig? Is there a chance that AJ could have threw this fight? Did AJ take a dive to get more notoriety? You know what I mean? Because the way I look at it, man, he's more popular than he was when he was the 3-belt champion. He's made it in the U.S. He's in New York shooting hoops with the man them. You know, dig?
Yeah, I'll have to go against the grain on you on that one.
Indeed, I
And
feel you.
no, I'm gonna let you finish, but let me go after you finish.
No, go ahead. I'm done. I'm done. That's what I was presenting. I want to hear what y'all have to rebut me on that. You know what I mean? Rebut
Yeah,
me to put me to shame with that. You know what I mean?
yeah. And my thoughts, I disagree with the popularity. I think it's more of people digging in to want to hear his response, his excuses, and this is based on when we see the viewership numbers on things AJ, and it's people wanting to hear what they're going to create. The same thing with Eddie Hearn. We want to hear what excuses they're going to make. The good thing AJ is doing is not making an excuse for it. Uh, but he's concealing a whole lot, not trying to reveal the background noise that's coming out of what was happening. But I don't think it's a popularity thing. I think it's a thing of people being like, because so many people are still stuck on physique type issues, like how you let this big chubby dude whoop on you. They're kind of in the thought of that, but I don't think people are excited to see him win. They want to see him go into this rematch and possibly be embarrassed again. I think there's that aspect of it, but more the aspect of people wanting to see what this guy's going to come up with, being how he was propped up on this pedestal without ever being deserving of being put in the position that he's in. And also, I want to point out about them clowns over at ESPN that try to prop this dude onto a pound for pound list, which is something I don't subscribe to. But just the thought of a pound for pound list is no way a heavyweight should be on there. But for them to put a heavyweight on there with the lack of ability to think and go about putting pure knowledge into the sport of boxing, they're basing everything on some agenda and their vision of how they think a boxer should look. But for AJ to go in there, embarrass the hell out of them, and look what they're doing. They're trying to throw him up on the bus and speak of these words of him being a trash fighter as if they didn't prop him up and praise him as being a pound for pound fighter in the game. But his popularity is like, I don't think it has risen anywhere. I think it's declined on top of being overshadowed with people wanting to hear from AJ. But they're going into wanting to see Anthony Ruiz look good against him, possibly turn the lights out on him. That's all I have. I'll pass it over.
Now, popularity may be in a positive way, but I think he has just overall his notoriety, I'll say, has increased. I think more people in America know who Anthony Joshua is by taking that loss than by if he took the W from Andy Ruiz Jr. But go ahead.
Oh, I agree with you on that part. Definitely on that part. You're right about that.
I want to come in after you, brother Reg.
No, that's all I had on that. I was saying, our fellow was right on that aspect of it. Go
All right,
ahead.
this is for the panel. This is for everybody in the chat. Listen, I want y'all to answer also. Just a one word. I want to know, since we done seen a few fighters get picked off, it don't matter what side they're on, upsets, clear losses, whatever. We done seen some fighters get picked off. I want to know, who do y'all feel is the next fighter that's gonna get picked off in 2019?
It gotta be either Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence, but knocked off by one another, not by an upset. But one of them gonna get knocked off, being the prospect of them getting ready to fight each other.
I would agree with that. If those two guys are gonna fight each other before the end of the year, I think that it's definitely a fight where, because of their fan bases, um, it's an upset for whoever wins. For Earl Spence Jr. Followers, uh, it's an upset to Terrence Crawford followers. For Terrence Crawford followers, if 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 uh, if Terrence Crawford wins, then Earl Spence's followers, it's an upset. You know, but at the end of the day, boxing purists, excuse me, boxing purists understand that This is a win-win for the sport. See, when guys like that fight each other, because that's when you are awarded the opportunity to see them at their best. You cannot see them at their best fighting the Mikey Garcias and the Amir Khans. You can't. You will only be able to measure their greatness by when they face one another. I never felt like Anthony Joshua facing Deontay Wilder was a challenge for supremacy. I always felt that that was a challenge for Deontay Wilder to become undisputed, and not even AJ, because I never considered AJ at that level. And if you look at what happened last week, there's a reason why that they didn't make that fight. They didn't believe he was at that level. They were trying to buy their time and wait, but you know, the road ran out. Okay. Now Deontay Wilder, the wonderful thing about this is this. For any of you that think that Luis Ortiz has a chance in the rematch with him because he rocked Deontay Wilder in the first match and all of that, don't think that Deontay didn't sit up there and watch this man lose all of those belts and not know, oh, you think you're going to catch me sleeping? That's why Luis Ortiz going to get knocked out much quicker. Just like 78 said, I wouldn't be surprised if Luis Ortiz is hurt in this rematch because the man is about sending messages, meaning Deontay. And believe me, I've listened to the messages that he's been trying to sing. And he's been trying to prove to the people, to the world, to everyone, like he says when he bet on himself, he wants to prove he's the best. There's not another fighter in the division that feels like he feels about what he's trying to do. There are some fighters in other divisions who feel that way about what they're doing on their campaigns, but nobody where he is in the heavyweights feels the way that he feels about what he's doing, what his job is. And that's a shame because that means at the end of the day, there's a deficit in challenge. There's a deficit in opposition. And that's what the fans need to really recognize and stop getting behind people that you like because they got muscles. Huh? And getting behind people you like because, they just not the guy that you don't like, you know. So with that being said, Reggie, you got something to say about that?
No, no, I totally agree with you on that. I agree with you.
Well, you could cook a little more. I mean, you can offer up a little more of that. What about you, Quattro? You got something to say about that?
Yeah, it was funny because people, and that was my whole theme of going into this whole new championship, this whole new champion, Andy Ruiz. My whole theme was that they were saying, and I played it on my channel a few days ago. They was like, yeah, when you, as far as what you think what a champion is supposed to look like, you look at Anthony Joshua, and one of the commentators was saying it, some crazy and real outlandish stuff. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, what is a champion supposed to look like? Now, me as a fighter, I believe there's an attitude, but there's not necessarily a look, because even if a person's not that, doesn't look like me, what I mean, he may not be, as ripped as me, this is that and the third, I can make fun of it, but he can end up fighting and giving me the fight of my life. He may not look like he's in shape, but on the inside he's in shape, and he's probably taking care of himself. A lot of people didn't believe that Andy Ruiz would even survive. Me personally, I was in, not really, I didn't think he would knock him out, but I did think Anthony Joshua would win. So I'm not gonna lie. So I had to completely apologize to Andy Ruiz about that because he showed true grit and determination. And to be honest, Andy Ruiz is even better than even I gave him credit for because I watched that Joseph Parker fight, but when I went back and watched it, he kind of was giving it to Joseph Parker. He was making it. He was pushing on the gas more so than Joseph Parker was. But Joseph Parker, one thing I could say, Joseph Parker wasn't as chinny as Anthony Joshua was, because he didn't even look like he wanted to go down in that fight. So I just think that uh like I said, man, I just think that the advantage in the ball is in Andrew Ruiz court. Now the whole 50 million thing, I'm interested to see how this works out. The man said that he wants 50 million, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see if he gets it. If he gets it, see, a lot of y'all think that he's crazy for asking for that, but y'all won't think he's crazy if he get it
Oh, I
and
want
take it to the UK and beat him in the UK. Wouldn't that be crazy if he got 50 million plus beat him over there in the UK? What would y'all say?
man, that would be something to laugh about. You think we laughed good last week? Boy, I think we would laugh for a few more weeks at a time off of that, man. But excuse me 1 second, fellas. I want to take a moment out to acknowledge a PayPal donation from Joseph Brown. He says, I'm glad you put your PayPal. I've been waiting to show love to the channel. Appreciate your knowledge of the sport of boxing. Thank you so much, brother, for your donation, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Quattro.
Yeah, nah, I was just saying it's just real. It's just crazy to me now, man. I don't know. It don't even feel like it's the same like division anymore because Anthony Joshua lost, and it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I don't want anybody to misinterpret me, but the thing about it is, it's just I know Eddie Hearn had plans, and the plan is not the way he got it now. And then another thing I want to bring up before this slipped my mind. Now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't like the new ratings and the ranking system that they have for the heavyweight division now. They put Tyson Fury number one and put Deontay Wilder number two. Anything but to make Deontay Wilder number one. When you know that y'all should have made him number one. He was number one before this. We knew this.
So
But
tell me, Yak, why do you think that is? Why do you think, and I would like everybody on the panel to answer this question. Why do you
because
think they would
because
actually
people
do something
wanted
like
because people wanted to believe and paint and disillusion a lot of the casuals that don't really know what's going on. See, that's what I don't like. See, you could lay all of that crock of bull on us because we know better. Don't lay it on somebody like my sister or my girlfriend. You know what I mean? And people like that don't really follow boxing in depth like that. They only connection with boxing is really me. So don't do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because my sister did think one thing with the heavyweight division, and then I explained to her what was really going on. And then when she see what happened, she called me immediately. She was like, "Yeah, yeah, and that's crazy. You was right. You was right about him." You know what I mean? This is that and the third, and it's not, and I don't even care that I was right about it. It's not even that because honestly, I want him to come back. No offense to Andy Ruiz. If you beat him again, you do. But I just think now, like the old timers say, maybe Anthony Joshua's woke now. So I don't think that it's going to be easy to beat him a second time around. And I'm sorry if I'm talking y'all ears off. I just wanted to keep it going, because I know a lot of the brothers ain't that talkative today. But yeah, that's all I had to say.
No, it's all good, Act, man. I appreciate your input, man. This is what it's for. I like to hear you guys, cook on it. So, fella, what do you have to say?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, to go back, Ack was talking about the AJ and Ruiz. I mean, I don't even think AJ should even go after the immediate rematch. Once again, like I agree with you, Ack. You know what I mean? He should maybe taking a little tune-up fight in between that if he because the style matchup with Ruiz, man, it, if not the AJ's mentality, it was the style matchup that led to AJ's demise as well. In the dig, so I don't see it playing out any different. So why take that? Why take that Drake back to back? You know what I mean? You trying to Meek Mill? Well, Meek Mill came back from the shit. Shit, AJ can too. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, shit, ain't that a coincidence? Meek Mill was the wasn't he the producer behind that whole 24/7 AJ documentary
They
shit?
said they gave him producer credits. I'm starting to think these dudes, these men and women they was giving producer credit to, didn't even know it, because they gave producer credit to Mark Wahlberg too.
Mm,
I'm like, just for them taking a picture of them.
yeah, that's they just cloud chasing right there. But
Well, fella, I want to take it back to something else that Act said about those rankings. What do you think about them ranking Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder, and
indeed,
why
indeed,
do you think
indeed,
they did it?
indeed. Um, yeah, I was looking at because I refer to the linealboxingchampions.com and they have what they do is they take the five uh boxing publications and take their rankings and average it out in a sense, you know what I mean? And they had the last rankings I didn't that I saw. Obviously, it wasn't updated from Joshua's loss, but Wilder's number three and Fury was number two. So I don't get that in the dig. I just don't understand that, but it's in a sense of we have to think it's racial bias. You know what I mean? It's the
Bingo, bingo, bingo. I'm glad you said it
yeah,
because
man.
at the end of the day, there is nothing more blatant in the sport of boxing, and the fact that those with those same prejudices and biases have even coerced the young brothers who participate in the sport as commentators, as people who they sit with a mic in their hand and, excuse me, sit on panels on the TV screen, and they say these ridiculous remarks when you see what's evident by every single match where these brothers are out here lying on the champion. The champion is knocking people the hell out 40 times already in 41 fights. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, you're going to rank somebody who's a crackhead, huh? Somebody who is as affable and who is like off-centered as you can be. In other words, he's like his elevator don't go all the way to the top, huh? But because he got pale
Mm,
skin, huh?
never rained,
And
never
you're gonna
rained.
rank him above. You're gonna rank him above this man who has gambled, as he said, on himself from day one. Okay, from day one to the point where he is now. He was given nothing. He's taken everything. Huh? He snatched it. But they still want to continue to put roadblocks, detours, and other people propped up in front of him. Well, let them. He's going to continue to knock them on their asses. This is why I said to you a moment ago. That's why there's nobody else who feels like he feels about the job he's doing. He knows. Huh? He knows. It's just like when Ali was champ. Ali said it years ago when he first became the champion of the world. Most of the people come to see him fight, but most of them that come to see him fight come to see him lose. Why? Because they think I talk too much. Huh? Why? Because I embarrass people. I do what I say I'm gonna do. Sound familiar?
Louisville,
Sound familiar?
Louisville.
I'm gonna tell you something. I've been saying this on past few streams I've done. When I mentioned Deontay Wilder, I said the man sparks back memories of someone from the past. I didn't drop no name before now with the association. Muhammad Ali, the real people's champion. That's exactly what Deontay Wilder has done. He has taken that mantle because you know why? He has put everything in. So what? He doesn't look like a textbook fighter. He's an unorthodox fighter. It doesn't mean he can't fight, huh? If he couldn't fight, it wouldn't be 40 dead dudes left in his wake, huh? He can fight. Now it's up to y'all to try to find someone to beat him. And it's going to take a hell of a man to beat him. Because it's not going to happen like, oh, he get hit on the chin, get knocked out. You got to beat that guy. And like he said many a time, you got 12 rounds to work with. You got to be perfect for 12. He said all he got to do inside of 12 is be perfect once. Reggie, you've been a little quiet, brother. Come on in and say something.
No, I was letting y'all cook, and I was happy to hit on that situation. Y'all pointed out about that top rank Ring magazine crap being nothing but it's just purely pointed towards race and culturalism, being that this is a black man. Because people will be like, well, it can't be racial if they had Anthony Joshua up there, but Joshua does not have this cultural influence that white America or even European society feels threatened by, and that is a vocal, confident, intelligent-minded type black dude speaking the truth on what plagues society throughout all countries, and that's the reason behind them not propping this dude up when he's the most accomplished dude you see in the sport. He's a guy that gets things done. It's the same thing. I almost kind of account this to, not to go away from the sport, but the same thing that happened with in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks versus the Patriots, with a Marshawn Lynch with his team on a 1 yard line with a guy who averages 4 yards a carry. It's the same thing. This is a guy who goes into the ring and he sparks everything. And for them to and even that magazine ranking is irrelevant as hell, but even for them to, kind of disvalue this guy, want to marginalize him, and every time they prop somebody up, they get knocked from the throne. So it should just add to where the value of that magazine, the opinions of that magazine don't mean squat. It's dust. And that's kind of what I feel. So it's purely all about race. And when people want to kind of overlook the things, act like they can't really see the true picture, add the culturalism to it. So that's exactly what it is. And we got Stormy B, man. I mean, Stay Ready up in here too, OG.
What's good? What's good, man? What's going down? I was letting you
Houston
brothers
hard
cook.
hitter salute. Houston hard hitter salute.
Man, I was in here listening, letting you brothers cook, cause y'all was talking some real shit.
Respect, dude, fam. I know you got that smoke.
Oh man, I, you know what? I looked at that list yesterday, and the only true explanation I got for it is because Tyson Fury is the lineal champion, and that holds more status than any other belt. Period. whether we even see the WBC as the glamour title or whatever. That
Should have been stripped of because of that coke binging. But go ahead.
hey, should have been, could have been, but look, you can't get stripped if you vacate your titles, and he never get punished for it. You know, he found a loophole, and he jumped on it. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens.
Still think he should have been stripped, man. That was a hardcore
We
gateway
can,
drug,
man,
bro. That's
we can,
not setting an example for the youth. Okay?
bro. Hey,
And
you can say what should have happened, man, but it didn't. He's still a lineal champ, and we know he's gonna get spoiled. You know, I be honest with you, I don't think he make it past
had
six
that
in
would
this
have
next
been
fight,
Deontay Wilder, they would have stripped him.
bro. Fury ain't gonna make it past six in this next fight. I'm telling you, on God now, Fury is not gonna make it past six. Write me down for it. If he make it past six, I'll eat Crow. Even if he knock him out in the 10th round, I'll eat Crow just because I said he ain't gonna make it past six.
I give him 4, Mac.
That's how confident I am that he ain't gonna make it past six.
I give him 4. I give him 4.
See, I'm saying six because I'm giving him an extra few rounds. Honestly, I believe he's gonna get knocked out in the third.
Yeah, that's what my gut tells me. I said 4, but that's what my gut tells me. That's just like, with this Brazil match, I felt like it was gonna be hard to call around because Brazil gets touched up. And that's the thing. You didn't know if Brazil was gonna let him touch him in the first round or if it was gonna take a few rounds. But the first round knockout is not a surprise because Brazil is there to be hit. I don't know what that man thought walking in on all that danger and fire. I don't know what he thought, but he was dumb as hell for doing it.
Oh, definitely, definitely dumb. Uh, I know what he thought.
We talk about a man that I heard could knock you out in 20-ounce gloves. They feel like they 10-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? So shit is crazy.
Yeah, shit happens.
Well, I'll tell you, fellas, it's like this. When it comes to that heavyweight division, and I can't say it enough or stress it enough, there's nobody that feels like this man feels about what he's doing, about the job he's going about. This is why they all gonna get slept, okay? Because they're not even entering with the same type of mental approach. I think the only setback that happened in the fight against Fury was like he said. He actually honestly admitted this. He said the event did get to him a little bit because it was his first big time pay-per-view and everything. And but now he's gotten over that. That's a door that's been opened and he don't have to worry about that no more. I think that was the last of what he may have had to face. The only other thing you can actually say he has to face physically is if he gets dropped, he has to get back up, you know. But the
He's
thing
been
about
dropped
that,
early. I don't remember the fight, but Deontay's been dropped.
okay, well, even in that, he's faced that. So it's like I said a moment ago, it's going to take a hell of a man to beat him. You understand? It's going to take a hell of a man to beat him. And I don't think there's anybody out there in the division right now that has the proper mental approach to what they have to face in there when they face him.
Yeah, I think
Hyphy,
the
where you at, bro? Were you gonna say something, Reggie?
no, I'll go after Hyphy. Let Hyphy go. I'll go after him.
Oh no, I'm over here in the background. So y'all just want to. My bad. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear
Yo,
you.
mic check. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, yeah. You
You
want to
good?
know what I feel about just a potential rematch? You said about a potential rematch?
About those rankings, where they put Fury ahead of Wilder and all of that foolishness. What do you think about that? That's what the guys were cooking on originally.
Yeah, well, about those rankings, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to put Ruiz ahead of Wilder. I mean, this dude is just always going to be, blackballed and singled out. Um, Without saying too much, we already know it's a certain reason why. It's basically his complexion and who he is. They never going to get this guy the #1 ranking. And we man, I ain't even gonna say too much because we're gonna save that for another show. But we're gonna have some fun with these rankings.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah, when you're speaking on about competition or people posing a threat to him, I don't see anybody posing the issue, especially no fighters with this height. The tall fighters make they make the situation much easier for him, as where he doesn't have to change the direction. They're right at the level for him to really accelerate on that heavy punch to in anyone's night. It's these shorter guys, with good movement that will probably pose more of a risk. But I see him sparking through everybody in those in the who are shorter in height. But when it comes to Tyson Fury, I was just thinking about that. I wonder if Tyson Fury's gonna get by this Tom Schwartz guy unscathed, because I'm starting to look at it as I look at Tom Schwartz as weak opposition, but I wonder how much did that knockout that he suffered from Deontay Wilder set him back? Neurologically, everything, physically, he's changed. What is that about? Is he really losing his weight, or is something else going on with this dude? And I've seen in the interview, and I've been trying to find it, where I see the guy twitching like he some Tourette types situation. But I wonder. I don't think he's going to pose a threat in his rematch, but I wonder if he gets by this Tom Schwartz cat unscathed.
Listen, man. Everybody that touches sleep touches, they're not the same afterwards. I've seen that. I think I'm a relatively late comer to Deontay Wilder's career. Okay.
Oh, come on.
No,
Look,
no, no. Listen.
Lennox Lewis touched sleep twice, and he came back. He came back fine, bro.
No, no, no. Listen. What I was getting at. I said I'm relatively late to Deontay. I think Deontay had maybe 30, 32, 33 fights when I got hip to him. Okay. And I remember seeing him, and I was like, man, this dude is wild as hell. But when he was hitting people, I was seeing the results of it, and I was like, wow, I'm paying attention to him. And then the Stavern 1 fight came, and I was looking at him in there, and I was like, okay, he can box if he want to. And then I heard him say in the interview, he said sometimes he get wild like that or whatever because he's trying to please the crowd and stuff. He's trying to be exciting. And I said, you know what? It's funny. He got people fooled, man. Like, say this idiot Teddy Atlas, right? Teddy Atlas, he's probably Deontay Wilder's #1 hater. But for the reason that he says, whatever is wrong with Wilder, Wilder can actually counter all of that if he so chooses to. I've seen this man box. I've seen him throw like a piston-like jab. I've seen him throw his combinations. I've seen him throw the right hand straight as an arrow. I've seen him loop it. I've seen him hook it. That's knockout of Spilka. That was a precise punch that he baited that man into. That you're not a fighter without technique to do that. You understand? That was precise. He hit that guy on the button, but lured him in. And he threw it at the right angle and trajectory. Just like at the end of the fight against Tyson Fury in that 12th round, he finally threw that right hand like he was supposed to. You understand? And he nailed that guy. It was almost like, and I'm not trying to hype him up with drama. It's almost like he did it on purpose in the 12th round. Like all the other times he was throwing it, he was overshooting it and stuff, because Fury kept dipping the same way, right? But the bell rang, they came out for the 12th, And then he went fap, and dude was down, and everybody was like, whoa, and he was like blowing kisses to people in the audience and stuff. It was like he set him up. And nobody talks about that. Deontay knew exactly what he was doing. Now, yes, the ref did everything he could, yelling in Fury's ear and everything, trying to wake him up and get him back up, gave him everything except for CPR. But Deontay looked like he was trying to knock him out in the 12th round with that shot he threw. It was like some of the cleanest punches he had thrown for the whole fight. You mean to tell me he missed all these punches for 12 rounds? With the exception of the round he knocked him down in earlier. And then he wait till the 12th and drop that guy like that? Nah, man. This guy is more skillful than people give him credit for. And he's very, very dangerous. What do you say, odd fella?
Oh, most definitely, he's very skillful. Even just to break down or watch the Luis Ortiz fight, how he was able to knock him out and slowly break him down. He went, obviously he went through some adversity, but was able to uh go through that experience, you know what I mean, and hold on, you know what I mean, and do and show real merit, as we saw AJ fail in those in that type of adversity. He did all the wrong things and didn't hold on and didn't clinch and nothing like that. But yeah, the Luis Ortiz fight showed real skill. I always refer back to the Stavern one when he captured the WBC belt. To me, that was masterclass boxing. You know, dig. He boxed the shit out of Stavern. Now Stavern had his moments, most definitely, but Deontay Wilder, that was I think that's the best boxing I've seen in his career. You know what I mean? And he can easily duplicate that against any of these guys. You know, dig. So that's why I feel like even I was thinking, would Andy Ruiz be a legitimate challenge to Wilder? And I think he would be, but at the end of the day, Wilder could do the Stavern one, the masterclass boxing, and bring that back out to easily outbox and possibly, you know what I mean, stop Ruiz in the later rounds when this fight does happen. You know, dig. But yeah, his skills are underrated. It's absolutely asinine and disrespectful for these joke coaches like Teddy Atlas, whack ass analysts and whatnot. You know what I mean? To disrespect the real king. You know what I mean? The real number one in the division, the American champion. You know, dig. Man, they sold turncoat. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. You know what I mean? Throwing shade, throwing salt on the man's name every chance they get. You know what I mean? He's the best thing they'll say about Wilder is he's awkward. You know what I mean? Everything else he doesn't have any technique or any type of skill, but if he throws that right hand, no, he has the power. That's about it. And I mean, it's absolutely disgusting, man. They need to start respecting this man. You don't just like uh go 10 rounds with Luis Ortiz. You know what I mean? If you don't have no skill or no technique, you know what I mean? You don't go 12 rounds with a prime champion Stavern if you don't have not a semblance of any kind of skill or technique. You know, dig? So yeah, it's straight foolishness. You know what I mean? Shame to all you. It's not even just these analysts. It's all these wild, these AJ fuckboy fan, AJ protectors and whatnot, talking that same type of garbage. You know, dig? Like, y'all just stop it, bro. You know what I mean? That's my take on it, though.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Quattro, what you got to say on that?
My fault. What is exactly the topic right now? because
Well, we
we
were talking about, his skills, that Deontay has and how he's being disrespected, and they can rank these other guys in front of him and stuff, but how he executes. And when I gave my piece before fella, I offered up that the guy does have ability and skill. It's that he opts to do certain things because he has this athleticism and this unorthodoxness about himself. But you can't do this to that many people and not know what the hell you're doing. You understand? That's what I was my point to summarize it. But I just wanted to know what you have to offer on how
me personally, I think a talent that Deontay Wilder has is a natural ability to be unorthodox in his skills that he possesses. I think the reason that he's so successful is the fact that he's so unorthodox, that he has the unpredictability factor about him. I was there at the fight with Dominique Brazil and Deontay Wilder, and I'm be honest with you. I was watching that fight. I didn't even say anything. Me and my girl had our eyes glued to the ring. We wasn't even talking. We didn't even see the right hand coming. Y'all could say it from the TV screen, but like I said, I was 2 rows away from the floor. I had pretty good seats. You know what I mean? And that right hand came so quick. Man, you couldn't see it, man. Deontay Wilder's faster than you think, man. That's one thing that I learned. He's faster than I realized, And like I said, and he's so unorthodox. You could think a punch is coming one way because of how somebody's. If you're a good defensive fighter, you'll know how a person is positioned and how they're standing and how their feet are positioned and how their hands are positioned on what type of punch that they're going to throw. So you might be able to anticipate this. So, with Deontay Wilder, you can't really do that. Deontay
no
Wilder's
sir.
so unorthodox that you can't really predict it like that. You may think the right hand's coming because the way he throws it, it looks like it's gonna come looping, but then it ends up coming straight as an arrow. Like that right hand
That's
that
what
he hit Dominique Brazil with was straight to the Indian here. Serious.
and when he lets it fly, it has everything on it too. It's like, man, my goodness. That's why he hurts himself so much because he just throws with what he has. He just lets it go. Reggie, what you got to say, brother?
Yeah, my thing on that issue with people, making up the thing about Wilder not having skills and this and that, in this couch potato society we live in, some of these fools don't know talent when they see it, and they base everything for a lot of these people in society, even on those commentators are part of it. They're simple-minded, couch potato-minded type people. Is if things aren't broken down to a simplistic level, being A to B, it confuses the hell out of them. So when they see anything with dynamic styling to it that's unconventional, they have to knock it because it's something that they're not adjusted to it. And they come from, even the ones who aren't who may be athletic. They come from where they think everything has to be so fundamentally simple. It can't be complex, or else they knock it. They break away from it. But for a guy to come into a fight with, even before he reached this 40 point mark, even at 20 fights, when a fighter or 22 fights, you're undefeated with everything being sent off to the hospital. How can you knock that? And if he is unskilled, he is whack, you would not reach even his halfway mark being unskilled, knocking everybody out without someone being able to uh, uh, break into that, tap into that, and do you like Anthony Joshua was done. And the problem I have in society is the way that when there's a star on the rise, a star that's shining, how quick people are to ridicule, want to break down that star without giving them credit. And that's just because we live in a couch potato society that grows envious and jealous at anything, that breaks away from the norm, and does things its own way. But this dude is very conventional when he needs to be, and very unorthodox, real creative in there, and ain't nobody stopping it. Even with the one who they thought was great in Tyson Fury, he didn't stop it. Tyson Fury did things to not even want to engage to avoid being caught with the shots he was caught with. But based on this, the couch potato fans and society were scoring points based on him putting his hands behind his back and, showing gamesmanship by acting like a dope fiend clown in that ring. But that's just part of it. We live in a couch potato society that hates anything that's gifted and skilled, and that's where I think a lot of knocks come down on Wilder. But they know the deal, know what it is. But I'll go ahead and pass on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hyphy, what you got to say, bro?
I've been over here blasting this nigga Fury. um, about Fury, man. He just a funny ass dude. We dislike him. We mad at him for doing all this ducking stuff. He's just a weirdo, man. This dude came out defending the dude, being so nice about AGCJ. And the next day he come out total opposite. I can see why people think he, doing some stuff he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah,
Very bipolar.
yeah, he is. And I think Deontay helped that. He always had a few screws loose, but I think after Deontay got through with him, he was a box of screws. That's the truth right there. And I think as time goes on, you're going to see even more of that being evident. You know. So hey guys, this has been a wonderful stream, man. You guys have really offered up some great tidbits and kept the conversation going. Um, I would like to get some final words from everybody. From across the panel. Let's start with Oddfella. What you got for us, Oddfella? In final words.
Indeed. Once again, I really appreciate you shooting that link, Stormy B. I mean, it's always nice to chop it up with the man them on a Friday night when nothing ain't popping really right now. You know what I mean? Other than the Raptors game, but gives a fuck about that. We talking boxing up in this bitch. You know what I mean? So salute to the LDBC. Tomorrow night we got Golovkin and Rolls. I'm kind of impressed with Golovkin as of late. You know what I mean? With the new trainer Jonathan Banks. Um, he's got his soul back. He's like he got a soul injection. You know what I mean? I want him tested. You know what I mean? I want him tested to see if he got pumped full of soul because he's looking rhythmatic. You know what I mean? He got some head movement and whatnot. He got some footwork, and it's yeah. I'm interested to see how he looks against my guy, my real estate agent, Stevie Rolls. You know what I mean? But with that being said, it's your favorite, get your most hated all fella, and I'll be back for another one. Salute to the LDBC, all the man them on the panel, all the kings in the chat, and the queens in the chat, and I'm Gizon.
All right, appreciate it, brother, and love to have you back anytime, anytime. Act Reacher, also known as Quattro Cinco, man. What do you got for us as the final words, brother? Thanks for being on here with us tonight.
My fault, bro. Could you come back to me?
Okay, okay. Reggie Owens, what you got for us, bro? I appreciate you
Man,
joining us tonight. And as I told you before, I'm following you, man. You're doing stuff yourself. And if people out there in our chat this evening aren't subscribed to Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, please go and do so. This young brother is really on top of his information with boxing and the facts and figures. He's like, really coming along. So please go and check him out. And also Act Reacher's channel as well. Please go and check him out. What you got for us? Final words, Reggie.
oh man, I like to start off first by thanking you for bringing me on. Thanks for holding these great streams. I'm always tuned in to you. I tune into all the brothers. Everybody support the brothers. Those ain't subscribed, like I say, stop floating around here hovering like spy satellites. Subscribe, like, comment, interact with each of the channels that you watch. And a lot of times I'm at work, I'm fully engaged. I don't even listen to music no more because I listen to boxing conversations all day. This is something I've been looking for a very long time. Happy I come across people that go in debt about the sports, especially with you OGs. The thing I like that you guys bring to the table is this history and the knowledge that you guys bring from a personal perspective. It's not an HBO or ESPN type perspective, and I love that. Learn so much from you guys. I hear you guys bring up information that I sit at night watching old school fights. So I salute you, Stormy B, Curtis Anderson, Scrapbook, Blood Boxing, the list goes on, but I enjoy that. But once again, thanks for bringing me on. Salute to all the brothers and sisters. Salute to the LDBC. Salute to new media, black media, and all of our brothers and sisters, regardless of race. Long as you cool, you're united. Blessings to you. Much love. But keep this boxing conversations going. Keep this deep knowledge of the sport. Uh, uh, kind of what is the word? Curated, like some museum type stuff. Keep that stuff going and continues blessing us with this boxing knowledge, this up to date and modern stuff, and bury the whole of all these lies and deceit that goes on to the sport. That's the other huge impact that has happened with the channels that we have is we're burying all the lies and deceit of the game down into the hole, and we're making it difficult for the con mans to reign over in the sport. But yes, indeed, thank you, Stormy B, man. Thank you, brothers on the panel and in the chat.
Oh man, that's it's all love, brother. And like I said, I'll be listening to you. I check you out on your replay because I'll be gone to bed by the time you air, but you be talking that good stuff, man, and I'll be following and listening. So you always welcome back here, bro. You can consider this a second home. You contribute some great stuff, great conversation and ideas. And that's what we like to do here on the Stormy B Man channel is give everybody a chance to come on here, even if they're coming from a different channel of their own. I like being able to be amongst people to talk boxing and to talk the X's and O's of the sport, but also, just to hear the different points of views because it's very important. We can, it's just like judges sitting ringside. You could, be sitting and see the fight one way on that side. I see a fight different on this side, and someone on the third side can see something a little bit different as well. So that's what it's all about. And we can come together like this. This is one of the best panels on a Friday night chop session that we've ever had. And I just wanted to acknowledge that to everybody who's participating. Man, you guys really burnt it tonight. I would recommend sharing this stream to anybody and everybody because we talk good stuff tonight. I mean, there is nothing to be ashamed of about this particular show tonight. Please share it with friends and let everybody know out there that hey, this is what it's about. And shout out to the LDBC for being able to have an umbrella, you know, with all of this talent underneath that we could come together and talk about the sport like this. And it's not jaded and it's not angled. We're speaking truth and facts and also some of our opinions, but at the same time, it's good stuff. And we had a nice audience rolling with us the entire night. We have more, I think, as I looked at the analytics, we had more likes than we had average people in the chat. I think the average was like 20, 29, or 30. And I think we had, at this time, I think we had like 37 likes or something. And I'm sure some people can hit the like button on their way out and make that go up a little higher. But it's been great. Quattro, you want to come on in now?
Yeah, I'm ready for you.
Okay, give us
Um,
some final word, bro.
okay, I just want to shout out my brother Stormy B, man. Man, my brother came a long way. I remember when he didn't even have a channel. I remember when he was just coming on mine, and then he just, he was always doing his thing and showing love. So I always got to show love back. He sent me a link, and I'm sorry I didn't hop right on earlier because I had missed it and I needed you guys to send it again. But y'all come check me out around midnight. in a few minutes. Y'all don't go nowhere. And we're going to have our Midnight Jab Jamboree discussion. I just want to shout out the whole LDBC and my crew, the Full Berserker Clan, and everybody that was on the panel. This was a fire panel. It's your boy Act Reach. I never steer you wrong, and I'm out.
All right, yes, sir. That's what's up, and I will be following you over there, Act, because tonight I can stay up a little later. I don't know if Reggie is gonna do
Okay,
something.
give me your email. I'm gonna throw you. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have you on.
It's Stormy B Man at Yahoo.
Okay, at Yahoo. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I keep putting
Hyphy.
that Gmail. I think that's where I
Yeah,
mess up at.
yeah.
All
Because
right, I got
the
it.
Gmail doesn't always work. Because it's the same for the Gmail, Stormy B Man at Gmail. But sometimes I don't get it. But you can either try either one. If either one, once I come on, we'll know which one it is. So, but yeah, it's Stormy B Man at Yahoo and Stormy B Man at Gmail. So that's it for Hyphy, my co-host. You want to come on in, get some words?
Yeah. I want to just say, just to everybody in the chat, and I mean, everybody that came through. It's just a beautiful thing to, just see the channel growing. People come through, consistently supporting. You got a donation. Everybody just coming through. Those are the people I just want to say, thank you to. When we got people coming on the panel, messing with us, especially like other guests and stuff, I really don't mind. I actually enjoy just, kind of playing the background, cracking, roasting your favorite or most disliked boxers in the chat for the most part. I just like to let the other brothers get their shine on, and I just enjoyed. I was just like a fan of this chat tonight. It was just fun overall.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as far as what I have to offer is, and I kind of alluded to it just a moment ago, this has been one of the most fun streams ever out of all of the ones that I've done. I think this is chop session number 12. And my goodness, guys, that first hour we breezed by. It seemed like 20 minutes to me because we were really cooking. And that's when you know that you're having a great boxing discussion when the time just flies by like that. And the chat was participating. And, we had a couple of more guys on than we would normally run with. But, I didn't mind because I felt that that was going to be quality and we weren't rude with one another. It was like it just flowed. And my goodness, like I said, I can't state it enough. This is an example of what we can do when we come together to talk boxing, man. This is fire, dude. This is actually fire. There might be some people that may come to this episode and watch it, and the viewership will go up more because of how we cook tonight. And my hats off to each and every one of you that were on here with me this evening because you made it a wonderful experience. It was a wonderful boxing talk. And I think everybody that was in the chat would agree with that. And we've had a few accolades from the chat as a result of that. And I hope that we can keep this going, not just on my channel, but to each and every one of us that has a channel. Let's just keep that good spirit going and uplift the sport and uplift what we're trying to do for the sport, because there is something about that. And when I was speaking earlier about putting in something so that you get something back, this is what it's all about, brothers. And I tell you, I'm enjoying it. I feel like I can talk a few more hours, not because I'm hyped, but because it's like you left me with a feeling about it. It's like just wonderful. And I just say salute to everybody. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Thank you for the donations, for the PayPal. Joseph Brown, salute to you. Much respect. And please bring some people with you and let them subscribe to the Stormy B Man channel. We got more content coming. We got the Three Wise Men of Boxing that's on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central. And we're here every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central for the chop session. I don't do very much else through the week like that unless I'm dropping some videos or something about fights or something. But please let's get those subscriptions up, and let's follow this energy on over to Quattro and keep it going. So this is Stormy B Man signing out from the Friday night chop session, and from here we're gonna say peace.
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 Keep it trill.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, hyphy, stay on, bro. Reggie, can you stay on?